Hello everyone. Where do I start off? It's recording. So, this is interesting. So, let me talk about something first that I wanted to get off of my mind. It is about, let me remember it, the new resurrection. It's what lies been put forth into the new resurrection. It is an interesting topic because, it is a topic that might really surprise you. I mean, look at the Bible and look at all the parts of the Bible, and find the part in the Bible that says we will go to heaven automatically. I mean, we will go straight to heaven. Does the Bible say that anywhere? Tell me. If you find a part, then it's good that you found it. But then read the actual context about it. And just see if it's a good context, or maybe it's just old language and older language being interpreted. And of course, the Bible is supposed to be, and the true Bible anyway, is supposed to be interpreted by God's true people. Yet we have 1 billion plus Bibles. 1 billion plus Bibles and many interpretations. And back in the day of Noah and Moses, especially Moses, people had to be certified to make tablets of stone that had God's word on it. And those were very few. Yet these days it's just made in a printing press. I'm not going against the Bible. I'm just putting the obvious sign of, do we really need to worry about what's going on? Well, of course not. Because God always finds a way to make the Bible true. Even though there are many, or very few, misinterpretations. And the many meaning, a very small percentage, yet they're found in there. But also, let me just go to my main point. Does it say in the Bible that people will go straight to heaven after they die, or hell after they die? Or does the Bible say otherwise? That we'll have we'll have new bodies when we go to heaven, but did he also say that there will be a new resurrection? There will be a resurrection where Jesus has taken sin off of the world, and people went to Sheol, or Abraham's bosom, I think, something like that. And that was the place of the dead, anyway. So, unfortunately, we all do go to the place of the dead. If I'm wrong, prove me wrong. So we do all go to the place of the dead. And that is the truth, right? So, in context, we do, in fact, not, go straight to heaven. So, yeah. My other point is, my room is very bright. Do you see that? My room is very bright. And there are only 2 bulbs in one socket. Yeah, is it good? Yeah. But in that restaurant that I went to, there were a few hundred. Maybe less. I would say, to light up the whole restaurant, there was 100 of bulbs in the restaurant. And there were 11 televisions, and in this house there's only, 2 working televisions, 1 that is not being used. And I have 2 computers. I only use that one at a time, usually. and I rarely use a printer, and all the other stuff is just, the only electronics I have are calculator, which doesn't use anything, another calculator, alarm, and computers and printers. And the main three things are the computers and printers that I, use a whole bunch of electricity from. Which, by the way, is another point where I have to get by. So, oops. Let's just say that, a computer screen has a million LEDs. 1,000 by 1,000. That's a million. Remember that. And then let's just say, those LEDs are getting smaller, so we get to 2 million. 8 million. It really doubles up. I mean, the whole thing with the LEDs getting smaller by 1500. By 1500, that's 7.5 million, I think, LEDs. I could be wrong, but 15 times 15 is 30, so yeah. That's really, so 1,000 times 1,000 is million, but 1,500 times 1,500 is 3 million. Then 2,000 times 2,000, or that's something like that. That's 4 million. It's complex. It really is. Where is it? I don't know. 2, 4, 1.5. That's ready. Yeah. But what if we have 5,000 times 5,000 LEDs? That's 25 million LEDs. That's 2.5. No, that's 25 times the amount of LEDs that makes up a computer screen than a 1,000 by 1,000 LED screen, which is, 1 million. Because that's a fact of math. Very interesting science, I guess. Let's carry on. The real scary thing is, if we use 25 times the amount of energy, and they're, let's say, 4 times as bright, and more fluent and more beautiful, what does that say about energy that it uses? Now, it should say if a computer's energy star, which I don't think it says energy star anywhere. Whoops, I don't think you can see it easily. That's just Intel. That's just 180. That's just not, doesn't say energy star anywhere. Let's look in the back. None of this says energy star. Let's look in this, I don't see energy star anywhere, guys. Which is, computers do use a lot of energy. And, that was my second point. But basically, just for that lighting, it uses a whole lot of energy, guys. And then for a building to use 100 light bulbs, that's, energy times, excuse me, that's energy times 10. Then they use 11 television screens, which I can bet that very few of them are energy stars. So that's, of course, there was 4 in one spot. There was another one, and then another one in the corner, and then 2 in the corner, that's 8. And then one in the waiting room, so that's 9. I saw 9. And then there was other stuff like that, so there was 9 television. Instead, there should be, one in the corner of the bar, and one corner of one side, and one next to the window. That's enough energy to make someone really cry, and really wonder if they're going to afford anything anymore in a regular household. As a matter of fact, basically, restaurants that use 9 television screens is really expensive, and yeah. So, 9 television screens, and 100 light bulbs. And then the fact that I saw one area of beautiful forest be completely cut down and bulldozed. And it's just a land of nothing but dirt, which is going to be turned into ugly buildings unless they're modern. The majority of the area is going to be an ugly parking lot with energy-using light bulbs and energy-using buildings like possibly 99 I went to. So, basically, the Earth has to catch up with that kind of stuff one way or the other. Doesn't care if it sacrifices the ocean or any of that stuff. It just needs the stuff from the Earth. So what it's going to do is make more trees grow faster in the north region. It's going to cancel all the snow in, let's say, the northeast in Pennsylvania, and even in Washington State, where there's a rainforest where there's winter. It's beautiful. But let's say we don't have any more snow in the rainforest of Washington State. Then what? No. Then, of course, we cut down even more trees. Then the Earth has to relate to that even more. Even though we burn energy more efficiently, someday we're going to burn it much more abrasively, and it's going to be efficient, but it's going to be, quite clearly much worse than we all thought. Even though we thought it was going to be bad right now, and then we realize, it's going to be better. It's not going to be better. Matter of fact, it's going to be worse sooner or later. So all that energy is killing the animals. Just think about that, guys. And did you know that the Bible did say somewhere in the Bible, maybe Leviticus, maybe Deuteronomy, somewhere, something like that. Do you know that in those verses it says, if you spit on the ground, devastate on the ground, urinate on the ground, you're putting yourself to shame. But what about us dumping the sewer in the ocean and trashing the ocean with trash the size of Hawaiian Islands? Maybe even bigger. Alright? Who's basically put themselves in shame now? China? America? Are we all put to shame because of that? Back in the time when Israel was becoming a nation, back in the Egyptian times, Egyptians would pollute a lot, but back then, when Moses made his laws, he put everyone to shame that did that, or polluted the earth a little. Now we pollute it like a billion times as much. That just, makes us a billion times more ashamed than the Gentiles on the earth. Think about it, guys. So, now we have pollution. Now we have the world being deceived. Remember I was talking about, darn, I hate doing this. Because I was taught so wrong for so long. It was the new resurrection. It keeps saying new resurrection like mad crazy because we are guaranteed a new resurrection, but there's a place for the dead. And unfortunately, there are tricks like that the devil puts in Christianity so he can take many more Christians into hell. There was paganism at first, then more paganism, then there was salvation, which, by the way, we can still be granted in heaven by Jesus by being accepted by Jesus, not through salvation. That's just that it works. And by the way, if we are, given life falsely, that means we're dead. Period. So, then there was the power of the Catholic Church. Then there was a much more bigger power of the Catholic Church. Then there was greater deception in the false churches, and then there were massive denominations everywhere. Then there were the mega churches. And that's spreading into an even worse problem. All I'm trying to say, guys, is that Satan is very lonely. He truly is, but he has gotten a lot of people that he wanted. So, even though he's lonely, which I'm going to state the truth and facts, even though he is lonely, he has gotten his people. I'm not supporting the devil, but the devil is very lonely. That's all I'm saying. And he'll do what it costs to get God's people to be with him, but not to like them, but to trash them. He says, I will bring your people down with me, no matter what cost it takes for me. And that basically is criminal talk. That really is. That isn't rebuking. That is facts. All I can say to Satan is, so you are lonely. Yet, here you are, taking people with you. I bet you're proud. I bet you really are. Hopefully you didn't take me. And by the way, I love Jesus. That's not a rebuke. That's just the facts.